Hey everybody, welcome to Elite BBQ Smokers here. We got a live stream, and we had Phillip on here.
Oh, where'd he go?
I don't know if Phillip.
He's back.
He's making an entrance.
Coming in from stage right.
That's right.
We got a great group of people here today. I've got some very dear friends of mine that ready to come on the show here. And we're going to have a good little show, talk about barbecue, share about the passions we have in it, and let's get to it. Mr. Phillip, introduce yourself and go down the line.
Yeah, I'm Phillip Mason. I'm the head cook of Fallout BBQ. We compete out of South Carolina mainly, do mostly KCBS competitions in the area, also do some South Carolina Barbecue Association competitions, and some SCA state comps as well.
Cool. Bill?
Bill Heyen, Triple H BBQ. We're a husband and wife team. My wife Andrea, and occasionally the boys. We got three young boys. Well, one of them's not so young; he's 16. But they're with us during the summer for sure. And this time of year, not so much because they're in school. But that's kind of us.
Yes, y'all got a good family going into it. And Justin?
Yep, Justin Holt Brothers BBQ out of Charlotte. And even though he's not my brother, but my son, Hollis, is pretty much my team. Me and him lately, 7 years old, because my brother can't really compete with us anymore, but we're keeping the name. Mostly KCBS, same as Phillip, do some SCBA throughout the year, and I'm picking up more SCA contests, it seems like, as the years go on now, and I'm actually doing my first GBA, Georgia Barbecue Association contest next weekend. So spreading the love among many organizations there.
Yeah, and everybody knows I'm Jason Hardee, Elite BBQ Smokers. Can't even talk to me. Jason Hardee with Elite BBQ Smokers. You know how many times I mess that up on camera?
Oh, I'm sure.
Filming.
Yep.
I mean, it's like I can't even get my name right sometimes. I tell you, man, Phillip was saying before the show a little bit, talking in front of the camera, talking to a computer, it's different. Talking in front of the camera for videos, it's different. It's until you've done it a few times, it's really just you don't appreciate how nerve-wracking it is. You really don't. But it is definitely a lot of fun. Again, thank y'all for coming on the show here. We appreciate it. The purpose of what we're going to do today is talk about the passion that we have for barbecue, the things we have, the things we've learned, the things we've done. And so let's kind of get into it. Phillip, I'm going to start with you here. So on this screen share we got here, tell us about your team right here. Tell us about kind of your team here. I got a picture of you and your teammate here.
Yeah, so my teammate's my dad. So we've been cooking competition barbecue for about 2.5 years now, under the name Fallout BBQ. So really, it's kind of cool having a father-son team. It's a good reason for us to meet up on the weekends. He lives down in Beaufort, so it's about 3.5 hours away. So we don't get to see each other too often, but it's always good to meet up in some random city in some state around here and cook some barbecue together and spend a little bit of time together. So that's kind of how we got started.
So on your podcast that you're doing with Justin here, you talked about how you moved this area from another area. So you moved here from where?
Yeah, so we're originally from Oklahoma City. So hang on a second. I'm going to let her in real quick. Sorry about that.
Somebody's excited.
Yes, I'm excited.
Put me on the show.
There's one thing about lives. We always have a good time with it, and you can't expect it. My dog's going to bark here in a little while because Michelle's not home.
Uh-oh.
She's going to start barking.
Anxious.
Michelle starts coming in, so
Yep.
it's always good.
My old girl, she doesn't even barely bark anymore.
She doesn't?
Sorry about that.
I mean, she's 19, almost 20 now, too, so all she does is lay on the couch.
Yeah, that one's a big King Shepherd. She's 4 years old, but she's got a lot of personality.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's some energy.
Yeah, so I grew up in Oklahoma City, originally from Oklahoma. I moved here whenever I was 16 to South Carolina. That's kind of the transition to Southern barbecue is coming out here.
Cool. I know you talked about your your podcast you had Justin, and you talked about how you come out here and the barbecue is different. It took you a little while to get used to just the difference in cooking. Now, this was before your competition time.
That's right.
This is when you come out here, and I think you said you was out of college.
Yeah, so it's a lot different. I came out here in high school. It's here you get a lot of pork, you get a lot of mustard based, a lot of vinegar based sauces, a lot of hash, that kind of stuff you don't really get out in the Midwest area, Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma. There, you get a lot of sweet, you get a lot of spicy, a lot of extra spicy. If that's your cup of tea, it's definitely mine. And like whenever you come here, like you just don't get those same things. And like here you'll go to a barbecue restaurant, and they'll have fried chicken, they'll have all sorts of sides and things like that. Usually it's a buffet, and then the Midwest, it's not quite the same as what you get out here.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anybody have no hash out in Oklahoma?
No, not even close.
So tell us, so Bill, kind of tell us your story about your kind of getting into it, of how you kind of got into the barbecue side of it. What was your pre-barbecue days like?
Well, pre-barbecue, I was actually into motorsports, so I was big into truck and tractor pulling on a national level, and that just got to be too much. Not much different than barbecue these days, but too much time. And I was going by myself pretty much, me and my brother, but Andrea wasn't involved, and so we got out of that. Just too much time away from family, and then we started doing a lot of. We bought an RV, started doing a lot of camping, and I bought a little smoker, just a little electric Bradley box smoker, to play around on. We like cooking on the fire with cast iron, things like that, and so I got that and started playing around with ribs. And next thing I know, I'm in a local rib competition, and one thing leads to another, and we're on the stage at the American Royal 5 years later. So it's pretty crazy, actually, how quickly that forgot.
5 years, man.
So,
I mean, that's now to get to the point that you went from cooking an electric smoker and to win American Royal, which congratulations. You've probably got everybody's dream of winning the American Royal and getting that trophy and stuff here. But to do that, you had some help in the sense of classes and different stuff, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I couldn't have done it, just strictly on my own. I mean, there's a lot of things that's helped me along the way, and a lot of people. But we've had several classes. I take one, sometimes two a year. Still plan to do that to this day. I mean, I don't know what I'm taking this winter, but I will take at least one. I've had Trish Schaefer was a big mentor to me. I met him pretty right away when we started doing St. Louis Barbecue Society, which is kind of where we started with the 4-meat type competitions. And so he's always been there to help me along, and that's a lot of people in my life that's helped me, And Andrea's got a fantastic palate, so that has really helped. She's a lot better at that part of it than I am. So we make a really good team because of that. I'm good with the tenderness and the, and knowing how to run a fire, and she's good with the flavors and sauces, rubs, things like that. So.
Yeah, I think that's something that barbecue's changed in the last, 4 or 5 years, has been just the last 10 minutes as far as adjusting the flavor profile at the last to finish it, the finishing dust, just to different stuff here. 5 years ago, whenever 5 or 6 years ago, we really nobody talked about that. Not saying people didn't do it, it's just wasn't a common known thing. You do a little bit of salt. I remember taking Donnie Bray's class, and this was probably 2016. And he taught that class. He said, treat it as a potato. You get a potato, you come right here, what you gonna do to it? You're gonna add salt, you're gonna add butter to it, add all this other stuff to it, and make it right. And he's really the first person I ever really heard about that was talking about finishing the dust here. Because if you just get a potato and you don't put nothing on it, it's just a potato. But if you are adding stuff to it, so you start bringing it up a notch. And that was really the first time I'd really ever just put 2 and 2 together and put it into finishing dust to finish at the end. That's definitely something other to do. And and we've said these things before, but the classes is just it saves you more money you ever dream of. Just taking classes and getting a little bit of a help foundation as far as going forward with that.
Yeah, we probably cooked for I think two, at least one full year, maybe two, before I took our first class. And I took Travis Clark's was the first class I took. And if you've ever had that class, his recipes are just over the top. 50 ingredients and things. I mean, just a lot of stuff. And it was pretty overwhelming. And I thought, man, I have really been missing the boat. And then we've taken some others that were really simple, and you start to gate sort what you really need to do and what you don't, and figure it out. So, but the classes shorten that learning curve tremendously.
It is.
To your point, Bill, on the whole finishing dust thing, it's so easy to overdo it too. Like there's that really fine line, and like how salty is too salty, how savory is too savory, how sweet is too sweet. I know something I've been playing with a lot is like different injections, different sauces. And then the thing I was forgetting to do is, hey, go back and check that finishing dust amount, and make sure it's still right for the whole recipe, because you can really overdo it at the end if you have too much flavor in your process.
No, you're right. Well, and a lot of times we'll taste our stuff before we ever put a finishing dust on it.
Yep.
I'd say brisket's the one we do the most. We don't even use it. Yep. Today we need it. This day we don't. Just it depends on the brisket. Certain categories it's kind of a standard. But pork and different things we're trying it. And to see how much we need. And we've got a couple different finishing dusts that we use. That maybe one's sweeter, one's a little saltier. And, hey, this needs salt. We need that, or or whatever we need to do. So
brisket, especially, like you can't go back if it gets too salty at a certain point, and that's the one that you got to be extra careful with.
Yep. So.
But I tell you that same thing whenever you're doing stuff at home. When we cooking at home, we're always doing that same thing at home. We cook something over, we put a little bit of barbecue sauce on it, like pork. I mean, around here is, like I said, pork's kind of what everybody has, but you can change the flavor by going with a Kansas City style barbecue sauce, or going with a South Carolina vinegar base, or going with a mustard base. And it's the same thing here. You just put a little bit on it and tweak it, and it changes the flavor. So when you're cooking at home, you're doing it at your home, don't be scared to experiment. You might find out something you really like that's outside of your normal, that you find out is something really good. I mean, I know I cooked chicken the other day for video, and I put that thing in mayonnaise and then cooked it, and it was crazy how juicy it was. So, I mean, and I've never done that in my life till I just started playing around with it, and it was dang good chicken.
You got to make your grilled cheese.
Huh?
That's how you got to do your grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Use the mayonnaise on the outside, not the butter. The best grilled cheese you'll ever have.
That's right. There's got to be Duke's.
Yeah. Is there any other mayonnaise? Come on. Dukes or die.
You got to get along with my wife.
Huh?
I said you get along good with my wife. She's a big Dukes fan. I'm not so much, but we won't go there. So.
My dad's a Miracle Whip guy.
Oh, my Lord.
He's a smart man.
You got to do some disowning there, Jason.
He's not going to disown. I haven't done disowning my dad. It's on me. But it's crazy little areas about how different things are different from different areas of the country and stuff here. I know I'm watching Malcolm Reed. He's got that blue bonnet, mayonnaise out there and stuff. Blue plate here, West Garrett. So
blue plate.
Must be that part of the country out there. But yeah, it's a good story. That's here.
White label
Phillip, I'll ask you a question about your logo. First off, I'm a nerd at heart, and I like video game and stuff here. So how much did the Fallout game have to do with your logo?
So I do love playing the Fallout game, or at least I used to. It's been a couple of years since I played it. But it's really more about my profession than the game. So I work in commercial nuclear power in a nuclear reactor. I'm a nuclear engineer by degree, and mechanical engineer. And I basically my entire working life I've always been around either nuclear waste or a commercial nuclear reactor. So like whenever I came up with the name Fallout BBQ, I sent my logo idea to the cartoon guy, and he kind of came up with a few concepts, and he just knocked it out of the park. So I was like, man, I can't pass that up. I got to go with it. I know the cartoon pig and everything's kind of played out, but man, it hit for me. So I went with it, and I haven't looked back.
So the first time I remember meeting you was actually at the Plan B, which was the Darlington racetrack that we ended up having to reroute because of COVID and stuff here.
Fantastic job, by the way, pulling that all together in a couple of hours.
Yeah, that was, man, I got that phone call. I mean, I was sitting there, I had people at the racetrack trying to get in. I was organizing a contest at Darlington Speedway, and still I want to go back there and do a contest. I think it'd be epic. But we had a contest scheduled to be at the racetrack, and I was the organizer. And I get a phone call, and I'm talking about this Thursday at 11:45, and it's basically a phone call saying NASCAR has stopped all things at all tracks across the entire country, and so because of COVID. And I'm sitting there going, well, I've got 3 guys sitting there waiting to go in the gates because they'll open the gates at 12. And I'm sitting there going like, what am I going to do? So I sent a text out to everybody, basically saying, or an email, whatever it was, saying the NASCAR's canceled the thing. Justin, you were en route.
I was on the road. Yep, on the way.
And I mean, there's a bunch of people. And then I'm sitting there going like, I said, then I sent another text and said, just hold tight. I'm seeing what I can do and seeing what I can reroute. Man, I called campgrounds all over the place. I called the beach. I called everywhere, but everybody's freaking out with COVID. And finally, Kevin down there, and then Kevin with the Shriners down there in Somerville, and he's like, come on. So we sent the thing down there, and we ended up relocating it. And to this day, I think that Grand Champion trophy is probably the best trophy that I have, one of the best I've ever seen. And it was a guitar I went and bought at the pawn shop, $60, brought it back to the contest, and every team signed the front of it, and every judge signed the back of it, and that was the trophy we gave out to the Grand Champion. And Chris Brown's got that trophy on the wall at his house. But I think that was it. But what I was saying is, I think that was the first time I had met you, because I don't think I've ever seen you at a contest prior to that. And you RGC that contest.
Yeah, that was our 4th contest ever, and I'd be lying if I said we knew what we were doing. It was more luck than anything else. But yeah, I mean, I think somebody came up to our trailer and asked if we wanted to be in the Wild Child, and we were like, "What's the Wild Child? Can you explain that?"
That was me.
And so, they're like, "Oh, you'll figure it out. You'll get the hang of it." And I was like, "Okay." But yeah, we ended up RGCing it. I mean, I had no idea what we had done there. So I mean, that was pretty cool. And we figured out pretty quick after the next 10 that it wasn't quite as easy as it was at that contest.
Yeah, I tell you, sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you don't. But anyhow, that was kind of stuff. But I seen you then. I seen that game because I think back then the game was Fallout game was still pretty relevant as far as that. And I'd seen that. I was like, it's a pretty cool logo. Bill, how'd y'all get y'all's name and logo?
Actually, our very first rib contest, there was my wife and I and my father-in-law, and so all our last names started with H. So we went with Triple H. We were thinking something with 3 boys, or with my kids, but they don't. I didn't know how much they'd want to get involved, so I was kind of brainstorming things, and that's where the Triple H came from. And then as I was searching logos, I realized there's a wrestler named that. Which I had no idea. And but I had a designer. I wanted, when I originally did my logo, I wanted something like a cattle brand, is what I wanted it to look like. And so I sent it to a friend of mine that does design work, and that's what they came out with. And originally, I think it had a handle on it and whatever. We kind of cut that off, and that's what we're running. So
cool.
Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool logo. Both y'all got some awesome logos from the cartoonist standpoint, and then from the simplicity standpoint, just really cool logos and stuff. So I'm gonna jump here and Bill here. So you mentioned it earlier here, talking about American Royal.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was not your first grand champion. You have won countless before that. Where was your first grand champion before we get into that? What was your first grand champion contest?
In KCBS, my first one was actually in 2021 in Lawrenceville, Georgia, at what's the contest? Coolray Field.
Sip and Swine?
Sip and
Sip
Swine?
and
Yeah,
Yep, that was actually my first KCBS GC.
that's cool.
Now we'd had some RGCs, and we'd had several GCs in St. Louis Barbecue Society. We'd actually won their team of the year before. So, and they're very, very similar to KCBS in their scoring, and or not so much their scoring, I guess, but as far as all the rules and everything else. So, so we cut our teeth pretty good there, and was doing both. I mean, we were going back and forth. So, but
Had you ever
that's
competed out east at that point?
Yeah, we had a little bit, and actually, we had been in Cumming, Georgia, I believe that winter before,
Mm-hmm.
and because one of my good friends is actually that picture they had of us on stage of the Royal. He was there running boxes and was on stage with us, but he moved to Cumming, Georgia from Illinois, so we went there to visit them and do a contest while we were there, and then I don't know where all we had been before Lawrenceville, but we'd cooked Florida, and I know we cooked Myrtle Beach. I think that was right after though, and so we'd cooked around the area some.
Cool.
Wes is asking, what's your chances of winning a title this year? And Jordan is saying that he's coming for you.
Yeah, Jordan's always coming for me. So, but he was actually at my house today. But
What did you break this time?
odds on winning a title, I guess it depends on the name of the title. So
Where are you at in points right now overall?
Third in the overall.
And that's for this chase?
No, that's for the year.
For the year. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at chase stuff. We're not far enough in it to look.
Yeah.
So
Jordan said he can't keep all your GCs, but he's got a track record for you. He's keeping track of them for you.
Scorekeeper.
Well, that's probably because he's been standing on stage with me on a couple of them. So, but,
yeah, y'all were. I seen y'all show that y'all was on together with Brian here on Chewing the Barbecue Fat a week or so back, and y'all have got a pretty good rivalry. But it seemed like y'all are also helping each other out and really good friends and everything else.
Oh, we do. We're best friends for sure, and and anything we need, either one needs. I mean, I'm sure I know I'd help Jordan. I'm sure he'd help me, and but then there's just that friendly rivalry. But if I'm not going to be the one winning, there's nobody else I'd rather see. I mean, and I got a lot of barbecue friends, so I got to be careful saying that because there's a lot of likes to win. But
here comes the Facebook messages.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm a no good SOB here, but no, like I said, me and Jordan are pretty close, so.
And that's kind of one of the questions here that we've asked in the interview. I interviewed you at Sip and Swine this past year here and stuff. And Jordan, Phillip, I know that Justin had this on your podcast also, but one of the things that the answer has been a lot of time is just that surprised us most about barbecue. It's just the friendships and the relationships that we've built throughout the people we compete against. And it's crazy that we compete against each other, yet we still share everything with everybody and help everybody be better. It's different than anything I've ever been a part of. Would y'all agree with that?
100%.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. You can, every weekend you send a meet up in a random parking lot with, 30 familiar faces every time you pull up. That's kind of a cool thing. People are going to be there that that you respect and are just genuinely good people.
Yeah, I mean that. I know, Bill, you've got it. Just talked with Justin. I think Jordan. I think he had some mechanical issues, and you helped him out. I have had all kind of fun with trailer tires and stuff, and there's been a great group of people that can come out here and help us out and stuff. And I've been blessed with that. And so this whole family atmosphere with barbecue, with cooking and stuff, is just different than anything we're involved in. But it creates such a great group of people, and the reason probably most of us do barbecue competitions, yes, it's to win barbecue, But if it wasn't a socializing standpoint, we wouldn't come out to these things.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. But going back to the previous thing we was talking about here is the American Royal.
Mhm.
You've done that, and that's not your first time competing in American Royal either, though. You've done it a couple of times before, correct, Bill?
I competed in 19 and then in 21, so we've been there twice.
But you was able to come out there, and I seen the picture here we shared earlier. I'll bring it back up. But your wife right here, I can't really zoom in with this one here, I don't think. But your wife is just, she was so ecstatic with that. It was just, to see her face there, to see her jubilation, it was just crazy.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You seem to be a little more reserved sometimes, but she's got all the passion for the winning.
Well, I think that's because this is probably gonna sound a little cocky. I expect to win everywhere I go. I go in expecting to win, and I think that's part of why we do what we do. But I think she's just, she's surprised when we win, and I feel like if I don't go in with an attitude that I'm going to win, then I'm setting myself up to lose. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yep.
So, when you get that first place call, it's like, yep, that's what I thought I should get. I mean, that's, and not always. There's days that I definitely don't deserve it, and the American Royal was a shock. I mean, we knew we had a great cook, but we were also cooking against 185 great cooks, so to make our way through that pack was pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tip of the hat to you for that. That's quite an achievement.
So you walked on that stage though, and remember, it might be off here, but you didn't. That was not your first time that night walking that stage.
No, sir.
You also had. Tell us how you finished in the categories at the American Royal.
In the Invitational, we had, let's see, we were third place ribs with a 180, which that one, right there, we were, our weekend was made. We hit the stage, with a perfect score. I could have not got another call all weekend, and I would not have been left disappointed, But then, no one got sat back down, and we get a fifth place pork call. And we were standing up there for pork, and I told her, told Andrea, I was like, we're probably in this. I didn't think we'd win it, but I thought we're in the top, we got to be. And because I knew our brisket was really good. And so sure enough, then we got, I believe it was 11th place brisket call. And that's, we're standing up there. We walked up to the stage, and that's about the time it hit me. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know if there's anybody else got 3 calls, and we've got 2 top 5s, So, of course, you never know where your chicken. Yeah, I didn't know where the chicken was.
Yep.
And it can be a wild card, and I've seen teams have a lot of calls and then get not get what they expect, and
Yep.
I figured we'd get a good call, but I didn't want to get myself too pumped up that we'd won it and then find out we were third. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was an experience for sure.
Yeah, last year I was first year there, and we ended up walking with ribs both days, top 10 both ribs both days, and that was just surreal just from us. I shouldn't say top 10. I think it might have been 12th one day, but it was just surreal with us just to be there, be at the American Royal, get our name called, and be up there in that little area. And I mean, it was crazy. And then to be there and to see you win that contest and stuff here. Now, one thing here, back up a second here. When y'all go to awards, y'all do not stand together. Or if y'all haven't, I've been witness to the past. Y'all are not necessarily right there sitting beside each other at awards.
Most of the time we are. There's sometimes when I'm still finishing trying to hook a truck up or do something, and she'll go on, and I'll catch up kind of thing, and we may not be standing next to each other, but most of the time we're sitting next to each other. So
yeah, because I mean, it's just kind of because I know another friend of mine, Scully, he's always standing up, and I know just kind of there's superstition a little bit about different things, And I just wonder if that was one of y'all's. And like I said, if y'all together, it's just.
No, I honestly, I don't really have any superstitions. The only thing that, that I have to do, before we cook is pray. I mean, we do that in the mornings, maybe after some stuff's on, and we find a time and we pray together. But other than that, I don't have any superstitions or rituals or, things that I got to do or hats I got to wear or anything like that. So.
No, I got to ask Bill. Now, I know, and I can verify this, that Phillip and his dad will be one of the first people to pull out after awards. Like, I'll be walking back, I can see that trailer go by. It sounds like you're already hooking up and ready to go after awards are done.
We get on the move pretty quick. Yep.
Typically, we're as quick as we can. I mean, sometimes it takes us a little longer the way our rig is set up to get things put away. It's not as easy as a porch trailer or whatever. But if I can be hooked up and out as soon as the awards are over, we are. So.
Yeah, Phillip, he can just, like, him and his dad will just drive up to the awards, arm out the window to grab, first place, and then they pull on out and honk.
Yeah,
on the road.
I've had so much bad luck with my trailer that I'd rather have it whenever there's still daylight outside. So we try to get out there pretty quick.
Gotta be the sun.
That's right.
Well, for us, a lot of times we have pretty long drives home. We're cooking all over the country, and there's times we're looking at an 8-hour, 9-hour drive. So I'm ready to get that started. To get it over with.
I can feel you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're heading out to the Royal this year, American Royal, and it's a 19.5-hour drive, and that's just. I think we might go down to Memphis and hang out in Memphis for the weekend before, and then kind of make our way on up. But man, I tell you.
That'd be a lot easier. Not that driving from here to Memphis is any fun or even farther for Jason than Charlotte is, but
I don't know about y'all, but like on the back end of the contest, like I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm ready to get in my own bed. I'm ready to take a shower. I don't have a shower in my trailer, and I'm ready to get back to the creature comforts of the house.
So. I personally rather just if I'm good, if I can, I like to kind of hang out Saturday night and stay and leave Sunday morning. It's just because for me, when I get home, I got so much to do work-wise that the only time I can relax is at a barbecue.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm here, it's just I work from home now, so I mean it's always just so much to do. But whenever I'm away, I can just stop and just turn my brain off and enjoy it. But
I'm kind of getting the same way just because it's just me. Like I can't get Hollis to back the truck up, at 7 years old, or I can't get him to do dishes. I've been trying to get him to do that, but he doesn't want to help with that. So yeah, I'm pretty exhausted come Saturday too. So if I can kind of stagger out, clean up, and do a little bit more Sunday morning before I hit the road, it makes me much less exhausted Sunday afternoon when I get home.
I'm not as exhausted as I used to be when I used to do low and slow. When I started doing hot and fast, I can actually get a good night's sleep.
Yep.
And then start up at about 4:30 in the morning, get up, start the whole process and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite as bad. But when I used to try to stay up all night and do the low and slow stuff,
there's no way, man. Your body's exhausted. Yeah, SCBA, man. I've gotten to where I start my butts at like 5:30, 6 in the afternoon. That way I can just nope, letting them sleep, man. No way.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out a good timeline for SCBA where I get a good amount of sleep.
No, that 10 o'clock turn in and cooking a whole case of butts, and that's just – I would still do them if they got rid of the aroma score. Aroma just –
Phil's got the good story about aroma.
Yeah. The aroma one bit me. I ended up melting my styrofoam box trying to get some of that smoke in the box. Justin gave me some tips before my last SCBA. I miscommunicated, or I guess I misunderstood what he had told me.
I miscommunicated.
I built my box, had all the pork in there, and I threw it on my Outlaw for about, it was like 3 or 4 seconds, just to try to get like a little bit of smoke into the box. And as soon as I lifted the lid back up, man, that thing was just disintegrating. It was, I think you described it kind of like cotton candy. It kind of looked like
it was like cotton candy going in water.
So I built. Luckily, I had a spare rib box, and I built the next box in about 30 seconds and got it turned in. But man, it was pretty entertaining for a few minutes. he got me, didn't he?
What I should have done, what I was telling him to do, was put what he was going to put in the box in a tray, and then put the tray into the smoker to get some of that. And Bill, this is the South Carolina Barbecue Association, so they literally do, one of the ranking parts of judging is aroma, and I'm not kidding. They pick it up and they'll literally smell it, which is the weirdest thing. And I went to a judge's class and I watched them do it, and I was like, this is so bizarre. Like, what's barbecue supposed to smell like? You know, like, it's barbecue, and that's part of it. So, you know, one of the big guys down there was like, yeah, man, I get a little dirty smoke going, and I'll throw the tray in there for, you know, maybe a minute and a half or something to get it on the, you know, just have it adhere a little bit to the outside. Clearly don't listen to my advice, though, or listen very, very carefully to my advice.
Listen a lot better than I did. That's right.
Man, I melted my box, and I was like, you what? How did you do that? Wait, you put the whole styrofoam turn box in the smoker? Oh, man. I laughed for a minute, and then I was like, damn it, that's my fault, man. I told him to do that. Put your tray in there.
A rag and stuff it in the smokestack and get that rag in there, and then take that rag out and put it in that styrofoam box. Ziplock it up together.
That's a good idea.
And just ziplock it in there and leave it there overnight, and hope that styrofoam is going to absorb some smoke so they get that aroma thing in there. Then we done one time. I done boiling hot vinegar-based barbecue sauce, poured it in the bottom of it, and melted the bottom of the box.
Nice.
It just went right straight through the box.
Yep, because no garnish and nothing. There's no foil in the box, and they want a full box.
And then
all cards stacked against us.
Like I said, I love SCBA because I love just being able to see downtown South Carolina and stuff here. And that's what I like about KCBS, just going to all over the country and seeing downtown USA, because there's contests. There's towns we never would see if we went to a contest there. I mean, Bill, I know you probably got stories about little towns you've been to that's not in the Southeast that we ain't, because all of us mainly compete in the Southeast. You go a bigger footprint that we have. And so probably some of the stories and towns and things you've seen is probably just really cool and amazing too, but it's kind of probably crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I got any really good stories, but we definitely got a big footprint. This year we've cooked from Florida to Colorado.
Wow. So
we've covered some miles, but
have you kept track of mileage?
Not really. Not really.
Would you want to, or you just kind of know?
No, I mean, I can tell you this. I got, let's see, about the 15th of July, I got a new truck, and it's already got 6,000 miles on it.
Sweet. Okay. Yep. You're stacking them up.
It does is pull the trailer. So.
Wow.
So I've never cooked in Colorado with elevation, and so the difference between Colorado and Florida, how much different was that?
If you're paying attention to temperatures, it's a lot different. I cooked by feel, so it really wasn't too bad. But when you do look at your thermopin, it's a little strange having pork finishing at 200 degrees, but as far as the rest of it was pretty easy. I mean, it took a little more to get the drums going. Used the leaf blower and a torch a little bit more to get drums good and hot. Because with the air being thinner, they just don't. You got to have everything open a lot more. But it wasn't too bad. Not as bad as I expected. Things took a little longer. We started pork and brisket an hour early, ribs a half hour early. Chicken about 15 minutes early. But everything came off pretty close to normal time, and I think they liked everything but my chicken. We ended up third overall, and didn't do very well on chicken, but it was a little tight, and I didn't know what to do to make it any better. I seemed fine when I pulled it off, but so
So Galax is probably about 6,300 feet above sea level last year. And now I was competing in that one. And I remember looking at whatever water would boil at, and then whatever that would do for my therm pin, I'd take that and deduct that from normal. So I think it's like 206. And so I know at 6 degrees that when I'm doing this, I've got to go by at least start doing it, because chicken is for me, chicken I cook by temperature. I don't go by field chicken because I'm not that smart. I can't fill out chicken. It's damn chicken. But so I was kind of going by temperature, and so that's kind of what I was doing with the math. And then the other thing, temperature is not so much as far as saying, all right, ribs, pork, and brisket is done at temperature. It's saying, okay, it's time to start paying attention to it. And that's kind of what I always use the temperature gauge for. But it definitely was a experience. Just, I think pork was at 203, and I'm like, okay, this needs to come off or I'm just going to kill it. And I ended up winning pork that day, but it was definitely a head scratching thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. A lot of times when I first check things, I'm not, the temperature don't mean a whole lot to me other than, okay, I need 15 more minutes or I need 30 more minutes or, whatever, if depending on where things are at. But that had no bearing, because I think my pork sat at 200 degrees for almost an hour. When it broke up 201, that happened to be when it finished, but that's just where I checked it, and it was right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting doing it for sure.
So one of the things here to now talk about the smokers y'all use today to cook, and I'm talking about what you use competition, but what's your go-to smoker or grill, whatever you use at home for your home cooking. So talk about the competition and then talk about the home cooking. Phillip, what you got?
I've got a pretty solid collection. Got too many. So I use Gateway drums at the house quite a bit because it's super convenient. I use my Outlaw still. I've got a CTO that I'll use. That if I'm cooking a whole bunch of food for people, I'll fire it up. I've got a Primo oval ceramic grill that I really like. I've got a Weber with a Santa Maria attachment that I really like to cook on, kind of like some live fire cooking. So really it's just, it depends on what protein I'm cooking and, kind of the flavor profiles that I'm wanting to get. If it's smoky or, really get that, that caramelization effect, that kind of thing. It depends on what I'm going to use and how lazy I am that day too.
Yep. That's a range of fire management for sure.
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed whenever you practice at home and you're doing that kind of practicing here, and does it mess up your head as far as like going from one to the other when you're doing your practicing on stuff like that, or is it just?
Yeah, so if I'm going to practice for a comp, I'm going to use whatever I'm going to use at the comp. I'm going to use the Outlaw or the Gateway. But like whenever I'm cooking for myself at home, like I'm not using like comp flavor profiles at all. I'm doing more savory, spicy, more like Southwestern flavors, that kind of stuff. So what I eat at home is vastly different than what I prepare at a comp. So I try not to combine the two or confuse the two whenever I'm just cooking for myself.
I found it's really hard for me to practice at home because I got so much other thing I get distracted.
Yeah.
I think I just take the camper and go to campground and just practice at the campground. At least I can stay on point, because cooking here it's just like there's 20,000 things to do. It's different.
That's why when I practice, I actually will put Hollis in the trailer with me. That way, all the little things that come up in the middle, like, Daddy, I need to go pee, and it's 5 minutes before turn-ins, or, just any of those things like that, I can kind of get used to being able to pivot around that kind of stuff and get right back to it. But I'm the same way, Jason. If I'm not, like, fully immersed in the practice, then it sucks, I'll end up walking inside and go to my office, and then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about this, and then I got to walk all the way back out there again. So It's like, just stay in the trailer, sleep there overnight. It's powered and everything. So my wife probably thinks it's really weird that you're sleeping in the trailer again at your house. And it's like, well, at least I got a bathroom close, That's
Like, to your point, I mean, you almost have to, right? Because, I mean, even if you use anything at your house, your sprayer may be a little bit different. Your knife may be a little bit different. Your cutting board may be a little bit different. And those little things matter.
Yeah, they do.
Whenever you're really doing that prep to get the exact outcome that you're trying to achieve in your trailer.
Yep.
Your shaker may have bigger holes or smaller holes. And, those little details if you're not using exactly what you're going to use at the comp, I mean, you risk having some variation that you didn't expect.
Yep.
That's one of the things I think that Bill, me, and you both use in toy haulers. So if your back toy hauler's like mine, when you leave the contest, everything's strapped down, and to get to your cabinet, it's like everything's in front of it locked down so it don't move around and stuff. So everything I practice at home is not the same stuff as I use at competition, because it's just not convenient to do it, to get to it. So that is that's true. So I can unload everything at home and cook, and I'm just not that motivated.
I got just like tonight. My wife had some New York strips. She was like, "Do you want to grill them?" And I was like, "You know what? I don't," because I started thinking about, well, I need my grill grates and I need my timer and I got to get my thermal pin and I was like, I don't feel like doing any of that shit. We actually cooked them in the air fryer. They turned out, decent, but
yes.
When we practice, which, we don't do a lot anymore, unless we're having a problem in something, some in the wintertime, I guess, but I usually go and load my drums at least every 3 cooks, if not every 2, just to clean them anyway. So they're out of the trailer, and a lot of times I'll practice before I clean the drums if I'm going to, make a run on something. So we cook out of the trailer most of the time we're practicing, but I'm practicing every time I cook anything at home. I'm playing with flavors and sauces. And, it's not exactly, if we're cooking chicken, we're not necessarily cooking chicken thighs, and trimming them to comp down and everything. But I'm still playing with different rubs and sauce combinations and things, and making mental notes of what works good and what doesn't. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things here with the YouTube channel. People send me some things to try out, and some of them's good, some of them's not good. But it's definitely always just practicing something other, trying something other new, and sometimes it's really a home run. But I need to do more practicing for the comp cooks, but I already cook a lot now. But yeah, we've done that. So Brian here is asking for he's got his notepad now. So he needs to know port secrets.
Well, that's good. Shigmaster.
We need to probably say that it's probably a tenderness game. Wouldn't y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Tenderness and maple syrup.
Pork pancakes.
That's right.
Pancakes.
Yep.
So Derek's got right here. If y'all hadn't heard of this, Smoke Timber Fest, it's in Baxley, Georgia, here in a few weeks here in September. You got a couple spots on there left open. If y'all want to come do a contest, it's a great person. I know he's have an awesome contest. He's a cook, so the contest is geared towards making sure everybody's got what they need. So if you hadn't signed up for it, it's on KCBS here. I think he's trying to get Bill to come down and cook.
Well, Derek, I would love to come down there, but we're getting into harvest, and I can't be that far from home. I do think we are going to one in Tennessee that weekend, but it's 5 hours instead of 8. So, I gotta kind of stay close to home, or a little closer to home anyway, this time of year. So we're probably not going to cook a whole lot, to be honest. We're taking this weekend off. Next weekend we're going to go do the one in Tennessee, and then probably the Royal and Jack, and that's going to be it for us. So
yeah, so we've got a few in October here. We'll do around here, because October seems to be the time of the month around here to have contests. I think we're supposed to sign up for Rocky Mount. Got Knowles contest, that extravaganza contest up there in Shelby. That one, and Banjo BBQ. You ain't doing Banjo BBQ, Bill?
no, I don't believe so. When's that one?
No, you went to the Jack. Same weekend as Jack. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be at the Jack.
If y'all haven't never done Banjo BBQ, it is one of the premier contests on the East Coast. They got the bands back this year, so it's an awesome contest. Sign up for that contest if you hadn't yet. Them guys do a great job.
Well, these two gentlemen are booked for that weekend, obviously, right?
Jordan's trying to get you to make a decision here.
Oh, no.
No, I'm not going to Nebraska. I've actually got a catering job that came up, so I'm going to be cooking 25 racks of ribs and 4 or 5 pork butts. So Jordan's safe. He can win this one. I'll stay away.
Harvest Bill's making money. KCS this year. I'll take a pay cut. How's the harvest looking this year?
I think pretty good. I mean, obviously we haven't started yet, but crops look really good right now. Where we're at, we're lucky because there's a lot of places in the country that don't look very good. There's been a lot of drought and a lot of wind damage and different things, and so we're fortunate to be in a pretty sweet spot. But
Tell you, I still think my dad would love to come out there and just drive the tractors for you for a week. He would probably be in hog heaven out there. But
let's send him out, then I can go compete somewhere.
He'd love that. He really would. So kind of y'all got any sponsors you want to kind of bring up here? Talk about sponsors you got or what you recommend somebody's new starting out to do?
Sure, I'll take that one. Heavy Smoke Barbecue, white and black label rubs. Smoke and Ghost Barbecue, they're rubs and sauces. Atlanta Barbecue Store, and then we got a couple meat markets that are local to us. Bagley Farms Meat Market in Edwardsville, Illinois, and Cordy Meat Market in Highland, Illinois. So,
yeah, good group of people. Chris Schaefer has got some good products out there, and Bill Jarvis, Atlanta Barbecue Store. They definitely treat you right. And if you need something barbecue related, and everything I use in our videos, it comes from Atlanta Barbecue Store. So,
yep.
So you check them out, and they got some great people and great opportunities, but they got some awesome products. So seriously, check them out. And tell them Elite BBQ Smokers sent you, or Triple H sent you. Deal, Phillip?
Yeah, for me, it's a Royal Charcoal. Fantastic charcoal, big supporter of the barbecue community, backyard and professional. Just love using it. Great fuel, and it's my go-to.
They got awesome product. They also sponsored us, and we've been blessed to have them. And I use there for YouTube videos, competitions. They're charcoal pellets, but pellet smoker. If you have not tried them, seriously, check them out. Use them. If you want a really good, hot, consistent fire, if you mix in with a little bit of wood pellets, Rectex pellets, man, I tell you what, gives you a flavor you cannot beat. And I do love them, and I use that a lot of times. But we've been sponsored, like I said. We got Rectex, Atlanta Barbecue Store. We've got Royal Oak Charcoal, and Rufus Teague does a lot for us. So we got some great group of sponsors and stuff. Also, ThermoWorks. We talked about thermopins earlier, and everybody that competes, I guarantee you 99.9% of them are using ThermoWorks products. So, I mean, how many thermopins y'all have?
I got 2.
I've got 3.
So I've got at least 3 in the trailer, and I know we got 1 at home. And there's probably something lost behind the cabinet and whatever else. So,
I like to thank myself and all my
oh Lord.
Yeah. So anyhow,
I've got mine too. I got DB 180 Deadbird Barbecue. Been really good to us this year on the steak side as well as barbecue side. Then local honey sponsor, Herb's Honey, all grown here in the Charlotte area. Starting to get out in some groceries and things around. Kroger, I think, is going to pick them up, which is really cool. So they'll start getting outside of this area. And then Steak Princess Barbecue has been a great member of the family this year, helping us out with her dry rubs, and actually get to go hang out with them next weekend in Georgia for the Doc Holliday GBA contest, as well as a steak contest on Friday night. So I get to cook a whole bunch of meat that weekend. Wings, dessert, 1 steak Friday, and then, let's see, pork loin, ribs, pork, and then the guy convinced me to do a brisket as well. So I'm like, oh my God, it's so much meat I got to do. Grant, luckily the brisket's only one, and with GBA, if you get the knock, you got to do 2 boxes. They're only doing 1 box for brisket because I was like, big money bucks ain't coming with two Wagyus down there, buddy. Sorry, I got to save those for the doubles coming up in October and November.
Yeah, everybody. So I'll give a shout out though from one of the previous guests we had under John this past weekend. He got his first GC with Ultimate Swine. Optimus Swine 757. Yep. Or he got his first grand champion this past weekend. And Bill, you got another one out of your collection this past weekend, didn't you?
Not this past weekend. 2 weekends ago we did.
2 weekends ago, sorry.
Yeah, this weekend we kind of dropped the ball in ribs. So,
yeah.
34th place rib don't win you a GC.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, no. It was. I didn't think they were that bad, but the judges did. So.
Hey, like I say, sometimes we get calls we shouldn't got calls, and sometimes we don't get calls we should have got calls.
No,
Jason, right. if you're saying being on your show is good luck, I'll take it, man. So.
Yeah, there you go. That's the key.
Actually, the good luck thing is to borrow something from me.
There you go.
Contest, you borrow something from me. Corbett, Smoking Scully's, Luke, Old Virginia Smoke, everybody that comes to me and borrows something other has a very good odds of winning the contest. I need to stop loaning stuff out to people, I reckon.
I know where I'm coming Saturday morning then.
Right.
I'm getting old.
Next time I'll cook with you, Jason, it's probably Royal, so I'll be coming to borrow something.
Yeah. Piece of string, battery. You got a Band-Aid?
Yeah, really.
There you go.
It's crazy. I need to just start. I reckon I'm giving away my good karma to somebody else.
Man. You letting that mojo go out the door there. You got to keep it inside.
But anyhow, listen, appreciate y'all coming on the show here. It was a great conversation. We had good opportunities. One thing I'd say is if you're out there competing, just take some classes, learn some stuff. If you're cooking at home, don't be scared to go out and try. Try something new. Try it and just see what works. You'll be surprised. Sometimes you might find out something you like better than you've been doing. And we said in the beginning of it, finishing dust has changed the game. So, I mean, that's one thing to take away from this here. Remember, is like Donnie Bray said, add a little bit of salt to it. Makes it taste better. I think Luke says that also. But, again, thank y'all for watching. Appreciate it. See y'all next time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yep.